Welcome to Rock City Stage Crew, a leading provider of skilled and semi-skilled personnel to the live events industry since 1989. With crews based in Cardiff, Plymouth, Bristol and Bournemouth, our work is concentrated in the southwest, but we supply crew to the whole of the UK, from small corporate events to large stadium shows. Would you know what to do as part of a four-man tip? Or where to put a flight case if told to put it upstage left? By the end of this training video, you will know how to do both of these and much more. Meaning you can turn up to your first Rock City job not only confident, but competent too. First things first, there are a few ground rules that we must cover before you even go to work, mainly for your own safety. A pair of steel toe-cap boots must be worn at all times when on a job. We work with a lot of heavy gear and don't want you breaking toes or a foot if any of this gear is dropped, whether this is your own fault or someone else's. Having a pair of comfy boots will keep your feet happy too. You will be required to wear a high-vis jacket and hard hat at times, but these will be provided to you when necessary. It is important to maintain a presentable image. When you put on your Rock City t-shirt, you're representing decades of experience, and our clients will be expecting professionalism. This applies to hygiene too. We need you to keep a positive working attitude. At Rock City, we operate as a team at all times, meaning the workload is spread evenly. The saying, "many hands make light work," is certainly true in this role. We have a responsibility to not only look after ourselves, but to look after those around us. This does mean lateness isn't as acceptable as it may have been in other jobs that you've had. If you're late, you're letting your team down. For example, it takes 4 crew to tip a heavy flight case, and it would be dangerous for fewer to do so. Always aim to be on site 15 minutes before your call starts. Whilst working, communication is crucial, and your first point of contact is the crew boss. They're the middleman between yourself and the stage manager. Any issues or questions that you have go straight to your crew boss. You are their responsibility and it is their job to help you. That said, you will be working closely with sound, lighting and backline techs. You must have clear channels of communication with them. Always be clear on instructions and never be afraid to ask for clarification. No one will be annoyed at you if you don't know what to do first time. It is better to ask than to go away unclear and create more work for the techs or break expensive gear. In this role, we need your minds to be sharp and for you to be aware. So the use of drugs and alcohol before and during work is unacceptable. This is not only for your safety and the safety of others, but also to maintain the company's reputation. Our clients will be expecting complete sobriety on their sites, so don't arrive hungover or drink or use drugs during the day. If you're having a few drinks after a job, have them away from the client. This will all become second nature to you as you progress into being a professional stage crew member. Your first few jobs will be at one of our home venues which we service regularly, being Cardiff Motorpoint Arena, Cardiff Principality Stadium, Bristol Colston Hall, Plymouth Pavilions, and the O2 Academies in Bristol and Bournemouth. These are well-established venues that we have built good working relationships with, so we ask that you respect these venues and their equipment as you would your own home. If you've ever been a part of a load-in for bands that tour in a transit van, you're in for a surprise. You're out of the league where it was a few instruments, a merch box and a tenner in your back pocket. The events Rock City crew work at our home venues are for acts that bring their own full lighting and audio rigs, as well as backline, set, catering and wardrobe. So now let's take a look at what you'll be doing on your first day as a stagehand. Sun's up, truck's arrived, and it's time to load in. Where do you start? Firstly, you'll be briefed. This will take about 5 minutes before your call, and your crew boss will go over any safety issues and how the day will go. Then the ramp for the truck must be set up. Get several guys around the ramp to move it to the back of the truck. Watch your fingers. These ramps are often bare, worn metal that can be sharp, and if dropped will do some serious damage. Make sure the ramp is set securely before entering the truck. It takes 4 crew to tip a flight case. Observe how each crew member takes a corner and lowers the case steadily to the floor. When tipping a case that is already on the ground, foot the bottom of the case and use the handles to tip it to a horizontal position. When coming down the ramp, always place yourself before the case. This gives you a lot more control and reduces the risk of injury. Don't bring the case down with you behind it. If you feel that a case is too heavy for you to control, always ask for assistance. And if a case is top heavy, use this stance to remain safe. In the truck, you will hear people talking about taxis. They don't mean their ride home later. Taxi is the term we give to putting smaller boxes on top of the wheeled ones to cut down on the time it takes to load everything in. The only thing to be careful of is to never overload a taxi, as this will make your life very difficult very quickly. This is not the time for being a hero. Teamwork makes everything easier for all. As you bring cases into the venue, the production crew will be telling you where to put them. And it is at this point that you need a clear map in your head of how the stage is orientated. This is upstage, this is downstage, this is stage left, and this is stage right. So left and right are done as they would be as if you were looking out at the audience. And upstage and downstage comes from Old English theatre where stages were sloped, with the front of the stage being lower than the back. Front of house is where the sound and lighting desks go, facing the stage. A rigger's responsibility is to lay the foundations for everything that is flown in the roof, so all the lighting, video wall and drapes. Their role is highly skilled and requires great attention to detail. When the riggers are climbing, you must wear a hard hat. Anyone without a hard hat will not be allowed to work on the stage below the riggers. Don't worry though, you will be told at the time and provided with a hard hat. Truss is what everything in the roof hangs from, and there are several different types. The first variation of truss you will be coming into contact with is A-type truss, which is held together with nuts and bolts and assembled in this way. To carry A-type truss correctly, have a man at either end holding opposite corners. This is the easiest and safest way possible. Do not carry it with your head inside. This can lead to a snapped neck should you trip. You will also see a smaller variation known as tri-light. Triangular in shape and much lighter than the A-type, it can be carried by a single person over the shoulder. This is assembled using pins and R-clips, and if there is not a spigot already inserted, a double-ended spigot, also known as an egg, is used, as shown here. Once assembled, the rigger will attach hoists to the truss and lift it to what's known as working height, which is around 5 foot off the ground. And now we can start loading it with lights. Firstly, open the box and fit the clamps if they are not already fixed on.
paying attention to which way the lights will be facing once hung. The lighting tech will let you know which way they want the lights by saying something like "screens facing stage left." You then remove the light from its case. Most lights will take 2 crew to lift out. Always have 2 of you lifting if in doubt. The lighting tech will often leave bits of tape on the truss to show where the lights need to go. These are known as spike marks. If the tech is very organised, the spike marks will be colour coordinated and numbered to correspond with the number of the light, but this isn't always the case. Apply the light so that there is a clamp either side of the spike mark and tighten up. Put the safety on so there's some slack in case the lighting tech needs to move the lights later on.
You will come across many different types of lights. Here are just a few: spots, washers, and moles. Not all of these will be mounted on the truss. Some will be floor mounted and others will have their own stands. Always be sure to go by the lighting technician's instructions and remember to ask for clarification if ever unsure.
After we have loaded in the lights, we then move on to audio. For this, we are just expected to move the different speakers to the correct positions in a safe manner. Typically, you will be working with line arrays, subs, and monitors. The line arrays will be flown or ground stacked either side of the stage. The subs will be below them and sometimes across the front of the stage, and the monitors will be on stage facing the artist so they can hear what they're playing. You may also have to take the sound desk to front of house. Always be extremely careful with any sort of desk. As with the lighting, always go by the sound technician's instructions and use proper lifting techniques, as you can see here. With the lighting and audio loaded in, the majority of the work is done, the hard work at least. Now we just need to load in the backline and set. The backline is the instruments that the band use. The backline technicians will tell you exactly where they want them and will ask for assistance if they need help setting anything up. Just be sure to handle these items with extra care. They often hold musicians' pride and joy. Set will be anything from a sign at the back to custom mic stands, and again there will be a technician on hand to guide you in what needs to be done.
With everything loaded in, we now need power to make it all work. And on a production this scale, it's not as simple as plugging in your TV. There are many different types of connections, but the basics you should probably know at this stage are multi-core, socket, and 16 and 32 amp C-form. You will learn where each of these fit into a production as you gain experience, but for now just try to remember them so you know what each one is should a tech ask you to grab some.
As a member of Rock City's stage crew, you will be working with staging itself, from assisting a full stage build for a large outdoor concert to small stages at graduation ceremonies. Despite the obvious scale differences, these builds are fundamentally the same. You will often be using steel deck or its lighter counterpart alley deck. Steel deck is very heavy and must be carried correctly for the safety of yourself and whoever is lifting it with you. The example we see here is a drum riser being set up. Take note of the lifting procedure and emphasis these guys put into working as a team.
And there we have it, a full production loading. When everything is linked up and the production manager is happy, he'll let your crew boss know that you're done and your call is finished.
completed the load-in, you have all the knowledge and skills needed for the loadout. The main thing you need to be aware of is the accelerated pace. With the loadout commencing late at night with technicians who have been up since dawn, everyone wants to get out as soon as they can. Generally, there will be more crew, and you will spend most of the evening with either audio or lighting before all coming together to pack the truck. The faster pace does mean you need to keep your wits about you, and keep your own working fast yet reliable. Once again, if you are unsure about anything, just ask. As you can see, it is essentially the reverse procedure of the load-in, but as before, be sure to always have enough people lifting lights or speakers, and never be afraid to ask for assistance. During both the load-in and load-out, be aware of vehicle movement, as there will often be site vehicles such as forklifts and cherry pickers around, and always avoid walking under the boom arm of these. When it comes to packing the truck, push cases up the ramp box first. With heavy cases, get a couple of guys either side to help you up. When tipping cases, always have 4 crew around the case, 1 on each corner. With the truck fully packed, the production loadout is complete. After checking that there is nothing left to do, your crew boss will call it a night and you're free to go home.
I hope this training has been useful and you can arrive at your first job with Rock City feeling confident and ready to take on the task at hand. If you take this training on board and do well, you will become a crew regular, which holds interesting and exciting opportunities, including the possibility of furthering yourselves in the entertainment industry, be it as a lighting designer, guitar technician, forklift driver, or a rigger. Rock City is a brilliant starting point and a great name to have behind you moving forward. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about what we've covered today, please talk to your trainer now, or talk to your crew boss before you start work.